How to break a generation cycle? How do we break the cycle? How do we break the cycle of dudes taking on the streets? How do we break the cycle of young men chasing women? How do we break the cycle of guys doing gang activity or banging and stuff like that? How do we break that cycle as a community? How do we break it? Talked about it on the podcast on Tuesday, and we said we have to cultivate young politicians. I think we also have to cultivate generation of youth, not only for politics, but blue collar work, tech work, trade, apprenticeship work, vocational work. There are so many avenues now that you can make a living, and you got to understand that it don't come fast. Even the money that come fast, you got to realize when you seeing dudes out here making money like that, you think they kingpins, only probably 1% of the street dudes get to that level, even if it's 1%. And by the time you get there, the feds are on you. Either somebody snitched on you in the background, or you making too many waves and you standing out. But how do we break the cycle? How do we break a generation cycle? How do we break those family issues? Some people, alcoholism run in the family. Some people selling dope run in the family. Some people, the red light district run in the family. You have to break those cycles. You got to. Some people, violence is a generational cycle. You got to break them. I want to dare to say that my mom actually raised me to break the cycle. She probably didn't even realize it, but used to have tough talks with me. Used to always tell me, don't be like everybody else. You got to be a leader, not a follower. You don't have to fit in. And I definitely didn't fit in. Hung around people, but I still was myself at all times. I never really tried to blend. I think when I was younger, I did, probably like seven, elementary, seventh, eighth grade, try to fit in. But once I got to probably like ninth grade, I think I just be myself. I know that sounds cliche, but you gotta learn how to be yourself no matter what. And it may not fit in with everybody, but it is what it is. You either roll with me or you don't. I'm not worried either way. But to break a cycle, you have to realize what the cycle is. A lot of times, families don't talk about the things that happen over and over and over. You just kind of got to realize it, see it for yourself, realize it, and say, I'm not going to do that. Because sometimes people don't like talking about those things because you touch that accountability piece, and it makes a lot of people have to think about the accountability part of it. But what I'm saying to a young person out there, if you growing up in that place or circumstance that is not conducive, um, you don't have the food, you don't have the proper infrastructure in place, you got to use that as motivation, and you still have to maintain a level of awareness to not get caught up in the legal system due to your circumstances. You probably can make a compelling case in court, but you're still going to do some time behind it. And the thing about exposure is you never know how you're going to take to exposure. Some people go to jail or they, get into the legal system on probation and they do their time and they get out of it and they go back to being productive. Some people go in the legal system and they get stuck. It's like a revolving door. They can't get out of it. That's why I asked earlier, how difficult is it to reprogram your mind? Because when you go to an institution or a jail, prison, or penitentiary, it's a whole nother mindset that you got to have to survive, according to what they say. I never been to neither one. I had to reprogram my mind not to even go there. We have to break those cycles. I had to break the cycle. I had to start back going to school and graduate at 40 or 41, one of them. I got to keep breaking the cycle. I got to study, take these master degree classes, and try to get into law school. I want to break the cycle. I want to bring information back to our youth. I want to show them and tell them that you can be productive and you can make it. If you live in crazy circumstances, you're going to have to put in crazy work to get out and maintain a stable lifestyle and not have to go back. Sometimes you can't control the situation that you're in, but you can control your reactions and how you move. You can control that. You can control your choices to a degree. You can when you're living under your parents' roof. You don't have to choose violence. You don't have to. You don't have to. There are so many places now. I mean, even if you have to go to a food pantry or a food bank, you can do that now. All of this is online too. You can find a food bank the nearest to you. They got programs out there. You don't have to rob anybody. You don't have to steal. You can break the cycle and do things in a decent and efficient way without having to put yourself in legal limbo. You can do that. Unless you want to go to the pen. And I wouldn't recommend that for anybody. I just wouldn't.